we hit 280 a couple times in the pre-market. This is kind of downside target area. If we can get a flush there into the open, I want to go net long. We got a pullback, decent pullback. Failed it above 284, came off hard. Yesterday, even with the positive Fed reaction, it was reversed into the close. So it's interesting. I mean, people wanted to sell despite, the Fed saying things that got people to buy initially. I mean, we popped $2, over $2. Closed weak, gapping down this morning now. I hope we retest 280 again. We're down there. I tried to get a little bit SPY here, but I didn't get hit at a nickel. So maybe, you know what? I guess we could pop into 281 on the open and fail there to do a retest of the pre-market low. Of course, it's always possible we could just keep going. But I was playing for a move back into kind of where we broke out here a week and a half ago. So that is that on the SPY side. On the IWM side, that really ripped to the upside after. We talked about the air pocket below here. It didn't get down here. That's the most interesting thing to me about it, considering how weak the SPY is now. I'm wondering now if IWM is just not going to get back down to 152. I guess we'll find out in the first hour or so. But I just thought from here to here, it would be air. It got down, looks like around 152.40, which I guess the morning of this big up move, it went to there, held a little bit, and then started the second leg. So we'll see if this holds again today. All right, so a few things in play. Let's start with MU that reported after the close. Extremely choppy, I guess, until they gave guidance. So I'll say what I usually say in these situations when I see this price action in the after hours is sometimes when we see this price action, I remind you to that after hours choppiness, sometimes we'll see the exact same thing when the market opens. So you can see it came down. There was definitely somebody ready to buy it at 39.5. That's the clearest thing that I can see here. It looks like initially it popped up to 41. Then they bought here, spiked up, came back down. The buyer was still there. It spiked up again. The buyer was still there again. Spiked a little, the initial high. Then people stepped up. Once they realized there's 39.50 buyer, they stepped up a little bit higher. They gave guidance, which was not good. But when the stocks come off from the 60s down to the 30s, it's always how much is priced in. It would be a little bit easier to trade if the stock was still in the mid-30s. It's not. So just from a risk-reward standpoint, it becomes a little bit different. My thought is just looking at the guidance. The numbers definitely stabilized. I think they beat their numbers by a little bit. I want to show you what it looked like off the lows. Let's go back to December, January. So if we go back to the beginning in December, it was right at 40. So I would think, it's 41.5 right now. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that it's going to hold this 40 here, even if it gets hit today. I put on the sheet. I think 40 as S2. S2 has been working really well. I've been noticing for the last week or so, like on a lot of stocks, they've been bouncing off the S2 area, even if they've been leaking below some of them. S2 to R1 has been the most common trade, I think. And I would think that we would have trouble if we were closed strong today and we had follow through tomorrow. I think this 44 is going to present some issues on the upside. I have 43.80 on the sheet. I got really precise there. Do I have S1 for? Okay, I don't even have 41 as S1. So I have 40.50. Why did I put 40.50 here? Was yesterday's high? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So it ran up there into the afternoon. It rejected there initially. So I guess starting thought is 42 to 40.50, which would be about 1 ATR, basically. Buyer stepped in a little bit higher in this 41 where kind of it broke out from in the after hours. That's definitely a possibility as well. This would be the more conservative into here. And of course, if it's consolidating in the 42 area and breaks to the upside, you know, 42.50, and then we'll see, like, I would definitely be lightening up into 42.50 and then see if it can hold above there. Best case scenario is R3. Definitely not counting on that. I think it's more likely we probably fail a little bit above 42 and then use this range. All right, CAG. Okay, so if we go back to last quarter in CAG, it got obliterated. So there it is. That was reminding me we tried to play it in this area here for a bounce. It went up a little bit, but then it just moved sideways for a month. So the down move started. I think did I put 27? I put 27 on the sheet. Here. So again, since this catalyst happened, then it had a second day bloodbath. It went down basically for 3 straight days. And now so it's right back up to the high since that bloodbath. And it really is, is this enough? Low is 20. That's like $7 down, $4 up. I would lean towards it failing here. I have 25 so I have 24.5 and 25. So I guess my thought was fail somewhere here, then it comes back into like this area. Twenty-two and a half, 23, 23 and a half. It's tight. 22 and a half, 23, 23. Okay. So yeah, so fails here. And then if it's going to come all the way back down into this area here where it spent like a lot of time for the last few weeks, what you'd want to see is it holding below 24. It's possible it could just come up here. They bid for 24, and it does stay in this upper area. Right? Maybe even takes out 25, but I'm leaning towards it failure here coming back into this. VIB, supposedly, well, not supposedly, this drug, a lot of the stock price was factoring in this Alzheimer's drug was going to work, and that doesn't work. So here's the daily. So this was the biotech run up from like 4 years ago. All the biotechs got crushed. This one got as low as here. And now it's coming down into this kind of the support area from the last few years. Below like 230. I put 225 on the sheet. But there's really, below 230, it's pretty wide open. A lot of lower price targets into this area, into the 240, 250 area, I think. So right now it's done more than its average daily volume. It's done 2 million shares. It normally trades 1 million shares a day. It's stable here, so let's zoom in a little bit more. So if we look at the initial bottom Vishers, it was 232. It's a $12 pop. Came right back down. They're still buying here, so they're still buying it in front of 230. Just that the bounces are getting less, so it's making some lower highs. So I guess the way to look at it is, let's compress it here. It starts to hold above 236, breaks to the upside, 240, back on the sheet, 240, 245, 240, and then this resistance. And it might be one of those situations like the other day. Remember in Boeing, we bought it on the flush of 270 and just got a quick like whatever $7, $8 pop, it might be one of those situations where it just flushes. You're able to catch it into 230 or maybe a little through that, and it just pops back up to like 236, 238, and you take 70, 80% of it off. Maybe you hold a little bit just to see if you can capture a bigger move and something like that. And then the other trades would be like later in the day once it kind of establishes levels. It's very possible it could just have a pop on the open, fail, be tight, then start to hold below like 232, below 230, and just kind of drift down and close at the low. Open to, yeah, it's a 6.5 ATR, so for it to have a $13 to $15 range would not be unusual. And then there's this little one I put pumping up on the sheet. I mean, they're buying some solar projects. I don't know really. Would you say 7 million shares outstanding in this one? So 7 million shares outstanding at an 18 million market cap coming in today. Now it's got a $42 million market cap. So they bought a solar project in Greece. You can see it has a history. Here's the history. It went from 2017, went from $3 to 25, back down to 10 to 25 before it eventually settled in. So if we, I don't know, let's look at BPTH, which is coming back down. So BPTH, I don't know how this happened, but it got above 30, and then there was just, it went straight up $40 before coming back down to 30. Had this second move, I was surprised that it got back above the mid 30s. We were talking about this yesterday. But once it had the second move and then settled in, it's been in a nice steady downtrend. It's almost back up to, back down to the gap up area from the day it went crazy. So we'll see if this, do I think it's gonna, this SPI is gonna go to 20 or 30 now, but it's kind of the same idea is it goes crazy, comes off, maybe it has a bounce again, and then once it starts trending down, it'll work its way back down to $3 or at least $4. So yeah, it would be great if it went to $8, $10, and then it'll eventually just trend back down. So that's that one, and it's getting late, so I'm not gonna going Tiger FDX. I would just say FDX I thought was bought all day yesterday. They didn't make it easy, but I thought right on the open it held. They held it higher. It tried to break to the upside. It failed here. It came back down again, but it never even came close to testing where they were buying it on the open, and then was strong into the close. So it seems like we zoom out. I'm not going to say bigger picture. It's going to get back up to 180, but if you do see over the next couple of days, it starts to get accumulated a little bit higher and starts to hold above 176. I would play it for a move to 178 to 180 and then kind of see. People were just buying it yesterday. I wouldn't really get negative on it unless it was holding below 172. Well, first of all, it could just fail right at 176. So you could kind of trade this range. But like bigger picture, I wouldn't be negative on it unless it started to hold down in this area here and then started to trend.